So why don't we head into the bantamweight division? I know we talk about it often, but I think it's important that we highlight this one, brother. So today, my man, I need to talk about an individual who, listen, we've talked about a bunch. We've talked about how much of a grinder he is. We've talked about how much of a relentless wrestler the man is and how we respect wrestling so much. I don't got Dan Gable on the ball anymore, but he will be back soon. Maybe not here, but somewhere in the vicinity. Competitor supreme. That's the mentality always. It's hard to break a wrestler. If you're a wrestler, it's easy to break other people. Now, we need to talk about Ricky Símon. No nickname. The man hailing out of the Pacific Northwest. Shout out to him for that reason. Fighting out of Vancouver, Washington. Training out of Gracie Baja, Portland. Listen, this is a dude who knows how to wrestle, who knows how to smash. And I just want to point this out. In our top 15, neither of us have Ricky Símon in there for obvious reasons. You know, he's fought some real killers, don't get me wrong, but he also hasn't really made the leap or been as active as some of the other fighters respective to him in the bantamweight division. Now, he beat number 12 Raphael Assuncao, and he did it pretty convincingly. It was nearly one-way traffic. Would you agree with me in that assessment of that fight?
Basically, yeah, especially in the first round, really control, pressure. Assuncao in the second round had a couple shots coming his way. He had that power working, but for the most part, pretty much one-way dominating side by Símon.
So with that being said, we don't necessarily see a lot of people do that to Assuncao. We don't see a lot of people just smother him like that. And since Símon was able to do that so successfully, it was very telling. But what was more telling is that he notched his first UFC knockout on Assuncao. And the man is 39. He's lost a couple. He's been knocked out a bunch. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it's not the most impressive, but then it is the most impressive. You cannot take that away from Ricky Símon. So my question to you, AJ, is Assuncao is ranked number 12 in the UFC's consensus rankings. In my rankings, I have him at 11, and in yours, you have him at 12. Very fair. You're in the top 15, but you're not quite, that upper echelon. You're not top 10. You're not top 8, right? However, Ricky Símon, if we remember his UFC debut, he beat Merab Dvalishvili. Now, was it controversial, and did Merab really go out? I don't know. Kinda, maybe for a second, but I think Merab should have had the benefit of the doubt to be able to survive the round, and he would have probably won the fight on points. Either way, Símon gets the win. A win is a win is a win. We talk about it all the time. But I have Merab at number 7 in my rankings. You have him at number 7. The UFC consensus rankings has him at 6. Símon is going to be here at 12 at least, probably, right? However, this begs the question of, with his relentless style of wrestling, of pressure, of dominance, of relentlessness, do you think he can beat some of these top 10 fighters? And I want to ask you one by one, AJ. We do this kind of all the time, so let's talk about it. Marlon Moraes, great striker, great jiu-jitsu. Do you think he could stave off a Ricky Símon? Because didn't we already try this with Merab, and Merab got the job done? So what do you think? Can he beat Marlon Moraes?
At this moment, I think Ricky Símon can, man. He was looking big in the cage. He was looking dominant. And Marlon Moraes just hasn't looked as good as he had in the past. I think Símon gets him.
So that just means that's like we can talk about entering that top 10, territory, right? Now, this is a tougher one. Chito Vera. That's a tough matchup right there, because Chito's so experienced, you know what I mean? Elbows, working off his back, jiu-jitsu, keeping the fight standing if he needs to. But Ricky Símon, he just knocked out Assuncao, man. He shows he got pop in the hands. That left hook and that right overhand are money right there. The wrestling, he's going to take 5-6 shots a fight. He probably land 5-6 shots, take 10 shots or something. Can he beat Chito Vera?
I don't think so, man. Yeah. I'm starting to give Chito Vera a lot of support, a lot of praise, a lot of support. This is right where I think Símon kind of belongs, right in that mix, man. Marlon Vera, talk about an indomitable will. Mm-hmm. That dude has that, man. No matter what you want to put this dude, he's going to keep coming back. He's going to keep swinging. I think that's probably one of the harder fights we're going to see Símon have in the division.
Okay, well, let's take a step backwards then. Number 11, can he beat Frankie Edgar? Can he beat the answer, the legend of the game right there? Because I still think that's a fair fight, too. Just because Frankie Edgar is ranked number 11, I mean, let's not forget who Frankie Edgar is. Like, come on, what are we talking about here? Do you think he can get that job done, a wrestler versus wrestler?
I agree with you. It's a little bit harder of a fight for sure, especially the wrestler against wrestler. I don't think Símon's going to have as much to do or as much advantage on the ground as he did in his last fight. But I mean, the power differential that I think Simon has versus Frankie Edgar is going to make the difference in that one, man. Like I said, he just had those popping those shots this last fight, really put everybody on notice. I think he gets it done against Frankie Edgar. What about you?
No, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because, like I said, I don't want to disrespect Frankie Edgar. He's been getting knocked out a bunch recently, but we haven't seen him go into a pure wrestling bout. You know what I mean? Where it's like wrestler versus wrestler, mano y mano. You got a former champion versus a dude who is eyeing to be the champion. So that one's up in the air for me. I'm not even going to give you a pick on that because I don't want to disrespect anybody here. I'm a big fan of both of these fighters. I think Ricky Simon could make it very competitive. I will say that. But here's the big question, because clearly if we're going to cap off at Chito Vera, that's about number 8 right there. Dominic Cruz's, Merab's, all that. I don't know if Ricky Simon could be today's version of Merab. You know, today's version of Merab and Merab back then was two completely different fighters. Merab is definitely a machine, right? Can Ricky Simon beat the Sugar Show? Sean O'Malley called him out. He says, listen, man, only if Uncle Dana gives the boy permission, because I don't want to bully him into a fight. You got to respect the admirable quality of a Ricky Simon who was like, listen, I just want to be fair. I'm anti-bullying here. I could whoop that ass, but only if he wants the ass to be whooped. You feel me? So can he beat the Sugar Show?
Ooh, that's a hard question, Derek. I saw this coming a mile away, and I still don't have an answer for you, because can Simon take the Sugar down? And a lot of people have tried. It's pretty hard. You got to get him injured to be able to take him down and hold him down. Even if you do take him down, he's going to pop right back up. I think Sugar has a very clear advantage on the feet, and to be able to get inside that length, inside the striking, to actually get those hands locked up and take that takedown. It's going to be a rough night, but I do think Simon has the power advantage going into this fight. But we always say it, man, power doesn't mean nothing unless you can actually touch that chin, and Sugar is very hard to touch. Call me a fanboy or not, Derek. I think the Sugar Show gets it done, brother.
Sheesh, man. I mean, listen, give the praise where praise is due, right? I would just say that Ricky Simon, he did a great job against Assuncao, kind of baiting him in with the jab, kind of feinting that right cross, jab, and then as soon as he hits that jab, double leg, right? You know what I mean? Works his way on the inside with strikes. So I think that's definitely a good thing for Ricky Simon, and I think Simon can get it done personally. I take the relentless wrestler over the amazing striker all day long because, once again, look at what happened. Moraes versus Merab. You know, Moraes had his moments. He almost had Merab out until he didn't. So, I mean, shout out. I believe that one was at UFC 266 too. So, you know, I mean, right here on the poster. Come on. I was there for that one. It was beauty, you know, it was poetry in motion. You know what I mean? It was a beautiful thing. So, basically, it sounds to me that at highest right now, we could probably put Ricky Simon at 9, but he probably belongs somewhere between 9 and 12. Am I correct in that assessment?
Yeah, I agree with you. About that 9 to 12 range. I would consider him close to that top 10 fighter for sure.
Will Ricky Simon fight for a championship in the year 2022 or 2023?
I'm looking a little more towards 2023. There's a lot of moving and shaking, especially with those upper top 5, top 10 that get it going down. Unless Ricky Simon can string together 2 to 3 knockouts in indomitable fashion, like you just did to Assuncao, then I can see it the end of 2022. But I'm looking a little more 2023 for him. What about you?
All right, well, yeah, 2022 might be tough just because of how stacked this division is. I mean, come on, bro. Aljo Sterling, Piotr Jan, Jose Aldo, TJ Dillashaw, Rob Font, Corey Sandhagen, Pedro Munoz, Merab, Chito, Dominic. That's like 10 fighters who could all be championship material in that weight class right there, which is ridiculous. So the only person, and listen, man, no disrespect, but if we had to just name one person who maybe would not be a legit champion out of all of those fighters, it'd probably be Pedro Munoz. And he would be right there, contender number 1, number 2, you feel me? But everybody else, I mean, Dominic Cruz has been a champion before. TJ Dillashaw, Jose Aldo, Piotr Jan, Aljo, literally all champion. I mean, I don't know, man. Too many fucking stacked fighters in the bantamweight division. Shout out. Craziest division in the UFC right now. And I don't even want to jump on the hype, but I do think it has earned that right to be said at this point. So that is your 60 seconds rankings review, folks. If you like the segment, drop a like, subscribe, all the good stuff, man. You know, we try to come up with these creative ways to be able to talk about the fights and just, you know, myriad different, you know, plethoras and varieties and all that good stuff. So drop a like, subscribe. With 320 subscribers on YouTube, officially notched it just like today or the day before, man. So once again, you guys are awesome. Couldn't do it without you. Let's keep it going. You already know what time it is. Finish out the year strong.